Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome to my kitchen for another recipe video. My name is Derek from Simnett Nutrition, and you guys saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, you clicked on the video, you know what to expect. Today we're making kale chips. 3 different flavors of kale chips. Wow. So if you guys remember that last video that I did that was all about kale, I shared with you that massaged kale salad recipe, and a lot of you guys loved that, but I also mentioned that I had some recipes for kale chips, and in the comment section you guys requested them, so here they are. So today we're going to be cooking the kale chips in the oven, and I should mention that I almost never use the oven for kale chips. I use the dehydrator that we have there, and if you guys have access to one, it is a way better way to make kale chips. It's pretty much foolproof. Like once you put the sauce on it, you just fire it in there for 8-10 hours or something like that, and they come out perfectly like crispy every single time. With the oven, it's a little bit more touchy. You really have to like watch the temperature, watch the amount of time that it's cooking to make sure that they don't burn, and you do have to kind of like shuffle them around in the middle. So making them in the oven is definitely a little bit more risky. However, you are rewarded with them a lot quicker than if you do them in the dehydrator, because luckily enough, it only takes like 20-25 minutes or so in the oven. So another nice thing about the dehydrator is it actually retains more of the nutrients of the food. So it doesn't actually cook the food. It keeps the food under 115 degrees Fahrenheit, which keeps it considered raw, and it doesn't actually denature any of the enzymes or other nutrients that are in it. So it's probably the healthiest way to cook it would be like in the food dehydrator, but at the same time, we're eating kale here, so we don't have to worry about having it like the absolute healthiest way possible. It's already pretty healthy. I'm gonna be showing you how to make 3 different flavors of kale chips today, but I want you to just keep in mind that you don't have to use these recipes exactly. Like if you don't have something, you know, substitute it with something else, or just leave it out, or like get creative and make up your own, because I almost never measure these when I'm making kale chips, and as long as you kind of understand like the base of it and what the consistency should be like, you really can't mess it up. So let's get started. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is prepare the kale. So what I like to do is just like to soak it in the sink full of water and throw a little baking soda if you need to in there, a little bit of salt. It helps to get some of the pesticides off and some of the pests off as well. And definitely give it a good wash, because as you can see, the water here, when they were finished, there was a lot of little creepy crawlies in there. So you definitely wanna try and get as many of those out as you can. It smells really good, like flowers or something. So once you've got the kale all clean, you want to dry it the best that you can. If you don't dry it, these will be quite soggy. So do your best to get all the water off that you can. If you have like a salad spinner or something, that would work. What I like to do is just shake off the excess water into the sink and then put the kale on top of a towel and then kind of roll it up in the towel and just like move the towel around, shake it, beat it and everything, and the water will get soaked up by the towel. So you have a few options as far as the ingredients that you can use that are going to be the bases for these sauces that are going on the kale chips. Why was that so wordy? Some of the best ones that I found are soaked cashews, soaked sunflower seeds, soaked hemp seeds, or tahini. And yeah, you could use all of those together in combination. You could just use one of them. You could use just 2 of them, whatever you want. And it really doesn't matter which base you use. It always seems to work out. So if you don't have cashews, you only have sunflower seeds, just like go ahead and use those. But I'm gonna be showing you these recipes using 3 different ones, so you can see that it all works out. So yeah, make sure you have some cashews and some sunflower seeds soaking, because that's what I'm gonna be using for this. And if you want to speed up the process, you can use some hot water to soak them in, and it'll cut the soaking time down from, you know, maybe 45 minutes down to 10 or 20 minutes. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, if you are following along with this, you're gonna wanna preheat your oven now. So get it up to around 275 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so the first one that we're making is a nacho cheese flavor. I think it tastes kind of like pizza as well, but we'll just go with like a nacho cheese. So here's what's going in it. So it's actually pretty simple, and we are gonna be blending all these ingredients up if it hadn't become evident yet to you guys. But here we have a 1/4 cup of soaked cashews. And we've got 1/2 of a red pepper, 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and then a big pinch of sea salt. And then I've also got a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar there. That also helps to give it a cheesy taste. So I'm just gonna be using our trusty little magic bullet here, but any blender will work, of course. So this is why it's actually kind of nice to use the magic bullet for this, because it's so thick and there's like so little liquid in here. You actually like have to shake it a little bit as well, so it really helps to have this. All right, so there is that all done. Let me just give it a quick taste. Wow, so good. So you don't have to just use this for kale chips. If you guys make this and you like it, you can use it as like a salad dressing, or you can put it in a stir fry, whatever you want. So next you just want to take your kale chips, put them in, just get your kale into a big mixing bowl, and you just want to make sure that they're all around the same size, because if you have some that are like massive and then other pieces that are tiny, the small ones are going to burn and these are going to kind of stay soggy. So you want them to be all around the same size. So next you just want to coat the kale leaves in the sauce you just made. I like to use my hands for this job because you really want to mix the sauce into all the little folds and crevices of the kale. And if you just do it with a spoon, you probably won't do that. So you got to get your hands dirty. So this is about the coverage that you want when you're finished with it. If you put too much on, they will just stay soggy and they won't crisp up. And if you don't put enough on, then they won't have very much flavor. If you are using the food dehydrator though, you can actually get away with putting a lot more of that sauce on it, because the dehydrator works so well to dehydrate things that you can get away with probably putting like twice as much on as this. And yeah, you will get kale chips that are twice as flavorful. That's why I say use the dehydrator if you can. So you definitely want to space them out really well. You don't want them like on top of each other or crowding too much, because the air won't be able to move through them and dry them out. So this is probably as close as you're going to want to get them. And they are going to shrink up as we cook them, but this is all you can do. So I'm just going to put these aside and we'll make the other two flavors. Alright, so the next one we're going to make is a smoky barbecue. This one's good. So for this one, I'm going to be using a 1/4 cup of tahini. I don't think that it's the best option. I think that the soaked cashews are the tastiest, but I just want to show you guys that we have some options here. So the seasoning that's going in this one, we've got 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Gotta make sure it's the smoked kind or else these ain't gonna be smoky. And we've also got a big pinch of pink Himalayan salt there. And then we're gonna be adding a tablespoon or so of maple syrup, and this will help to counteract the bitterness of the tahini, but it'll also give it a sweet, smoky flavor along with those spices. And I forgot to mention, you are going to need to add some water to this one, but you don't want to add too much, so just add a tiny bit at a time. I also just realized that you probably don't have to blend this one, since there's no ingredients in it that have to be like broken up, so you could probably just like mix it with a spoon or a whisk or whatever. So there's that one all done, and yeah, I didn't add very much water at all, and I'm definitely glad I didn't add any more. Oh man, wow. Even if you guys don't care about the kale chips, these 3 sauces I'm sharing with you are freaking unbelievable. All right, and then it's the same as the last one. Put it into a bowl and mix it up. I threw some purple kale in there just because we had it, but I bet you it's probably not gonna look the best. It's just gonna look burned. Alright, so this last one I'm going to show you is going to be ranch flavored, and it's very similar to the first one, just with like some slight differences. So in this one we're using soaked sunflower seeds as the base. So we've got a 1/4 cup of soaked sunflower seeds, and then we've got 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon of grainy mustard, 1 teaspoon of dill, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. We've got some black pepper there as well, and a big pinch of that pink Himalayan salt. And you may have to add a touch of water to this one as well, because as you can see, there's really no liquids going into it. Apple cider vinegar would probably work as well. So I am actually gonna add a splash of apple cider vinegar to this one, and I'll put it in the recipe in the description box down below that I have done that, because just smelling it, it doesn't smell quite like ranch. It needs that sort of like sourness to it. So this one's super thick. You could actually probably use this as like a dip. Let's taste it. Wow, that is like buttermilk ranch. It's so good, man. So just as an example, if you were putting them in the dehydrator, you could probably have them about as saucy as those ones there that you can see with a ton of sauce on them. But for the oven, it just won't work. All right, so we've got the 2 flavors on this tray, 1 on the other tray over there, and they're ready to go into the oven. I still think that these are a tiny bit too saucy, but we will find out. It might just take a little bit longer to bake. All right, so this is the important part, the cooking of them. So you wanna set your oven at 275 to 300 degrees, like I mentioned, and you wanna cook them for 15 minutes first. And then after that, you wanna pull them out and you wanna check on them. You probably wanna spin the baking tray around so the ones that they're at the back will now be at the front, the ones at the front, the back, because the ones that are at the back usually cook a little bit faster. And just pick through them and see if there's any that are already cooked or dried or whatever. You wanna pull those out and put them aside. And then you wanna stick it back in the oven and you wanna kinda check on them every 5 minutes from then on until they're ready. And usually it takes, after that 15 minutes, yeah, usually it takes only between 5 and 10 minutes or so. So they'll be ready soon, so stay in the kitchen and check on them. But yeah, I'll touch back with you guys in 15 minutes when these things are almost ready. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes and let's check and see how these things are. All right, so you can see they've shrunk down quite a bit and they're still a little bit soggy, and these ones too. So yeah, they definitely need some more time. But you can see the ones at the back are definitely cooking more than the ones at the front. So I'm gonna do my best to spin this around, but it's kinda hard because it's a soft little sheet. And let's check on these ones too. Yeah, these ones are about the same. So I'm just gonna flip them both around and then stick them back in for another 5 minutes or so. Ow! All right, jeez, not ideal. So I just pulled them out of the oven after an additional 5 minutes and they're all perfectly cooked. And yeah, I was right. Those purple ones, they just look like they're absolutely burned to a crisp, but they're not, I promise you guys. And these ones are looking really good. Those are the ranch ones. Those were the barbecue ones. And then these are the nacho cheese or pizza flavored ones. All right, so I'm just gonna put them all into different bowls and we'll taste test them, see how they are. All right, so I guess I'll try them in the order in which I made them. So this is the nacho cheese or pizza flavored one. Really good. I think I did the barbecue one next. So here are those ones here. These are good. They're awesome, just like you'd expect. Smoky, barbecue-y. Wow, I like these ones. All right, and then the last ones are the ranch flavored ones. So let's try these. Good. Took me a minute to taste them because those barbecue ones are pretty strong. Yeah, these ones are not, sorry. So yeah, some of these ones definitely didn't get as crispy as the other ones, and I think because it just had more sauce on it, so I probably could have left them for a little bit longer, but they're actually still really good like this. They're all so good. I honestly couldn't pick a favorite if I had to. All right, so I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching it. I do appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You should have, because so many of you asked for it. So I love doing videos like this. If you guys have a suggestion, you want to see me cook a certain type of food or a certain type of video that you want to see, just leave it in the comment section down below, and I will try to accommodate. So definitely hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and you like these recipes. And like I said, if you want to use these sauces for something else, don't feel obligated to just put them on kale chips. You could use them for so many other things, or you can modify them to suit your needs. So anyways, subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love to see you again. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. What if I mix all three together? It's like a nacho cheese barbecue with ranch sauce.